So this is a dimorphodon made famous by the Jurassic World and it eats small animals such as this. It's a Tilapia. So it doesn't actually walk like this. Its wing more goes like down and up. So then, I think that's probably it for this one. The Gallimimus. So this lived in Mongolia in the late Cretaceous period and is probably even more famous. It can run at up to speeds of I think 40-something miles per hour, and it is taller than a man even though it looks quite small, so it's already getting pretty big. It ate insects, sometimes and other small reptiles, but mostly it ate ferns and conifer leaves. Next. Oh yeah, goodbye. Oh, you're lucky you escaped. Next here is the Pachycephalosaurus. One of the very famous ones, though not too many people all know about this one. It probably couldn't have survived headbutting each other, as some scientists say. So based on the structure of a skull, so really it would have whacked each other's heads. And if you look at my hand now, it looks a bit red. Yeah, so it would have hurt. Okay. Oh, he's getting new teeth soon. This is a Deinonychus. Although it may look like a velociraptor, as most people think in the Jurassic World Park and World movies, really the velociraptor was much smaller and slender and more long-snouted than the Deinonychus. And yes, it did have feathers, and almost definitely on their arms, as they have found bumps on fossil Deinonychus and velociraptor skin. This is twice the height of a man already. So as you can see, the biggest is going to be really big. Oh, yes. This actually came with the Ceratosaurus skull set. As you can see, it fits right in. The Pteranodon. This would be the height of the man at this point. Yeah, here. That's the height of a man at this point. It's usually called by non-paleontologist people pterodactyl, but that name has been swapped with pteranodon for a long time. It's just that the news hasn't reached most people. It eats fish and was also made famous by the Jurassic Park and World movies. Now, things are probably... Nope. This is the Cryptolidus. And as you can see, it has a very long neck, a bit like a sauropod or giraffe. We do have two sauropods in the video. Yeah, but they're pretty big and they're not going to be used for the skull. It eats fish and lived in the Jurassic period under the reign of Liopleurodon, which actually turned out to be only as big as a man, even though though some people still think it was one of the biggest creatures that ever lived. But that was because they mixed it up with other mosasaur bones. So, next. Yeah, so now it has gotten too big. Oh, should I do the hybrid now? Yeah. Now this is a Dilophosaurus. Now no one ever said it was a hybrid in the movie Jurassic Park, but really the real Dilophosaurus from the early Jurassic period was much, much larger, about 3 times as tall as a man, and 8 prosauropods. But this, it was different in 3 ways. It's smaller, it has these frill things, and even though the real Dilophosaurus didn't have that in the first place, it also didn't spit acid. Yeah, so now it's getting a bit too big for the skull, and it's entering things like this Dilophosaurus may look cowardly. Oh! You're not escaping the fate. The Concavinator. Now this may look like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but as you can see, it's much smaller, with a man reaching this high, and it has 2 spiny spines or sails on the top of its back. It lived in the Cretaceous period, and it was probably an ambush hunter. The Sinoceratops is a large ceratopsian at about this big from a human being. It was made famous by Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. That's the one with the Indoraptor, which will be displayed at the end. It weighed around a ton, maybe, that's my guess, and this is a feature not known in almost any other herbivore. When young, it added meat and bones to its diet to help support rapid skeletal growth. But it turned herbivore about at 20, I guess, maybe 18. This is a Carnotaurus, which lived in Argentina. It might have not been much of a match for T-Rex, as it shows twice in the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom movie, but it was a very large match for its prey with its horns, except for that it didn't charge. It would have bashed other Carnotauruses its heads in fights for mates, more like this. It's the only known carnivore to do this. Or really, theropod. Now, the Tarbosaurus. This was a relative of T-Rex, as it can be seen by looking at its arms. It was a very dangerous predator too, and it lived at the late Cretaceous, but still before the T-Rex, in North America, terrorizing any local creatures. This is the Amargasaurus, the only sauropod known to have spines coming out of its neck. It might have been sails, like shown here, but it may have also been spines used for defense. It was obviously a herbivore and lived in the Middle Cretaceous period in Argentina. This is the Quetzalcoatlus, the second largest pterosaur ever known, with a man only reaching its beak length. It was so gigantic it would have eaten dinosaurs. It lived in Mexico from 68 to 66 million years ago, when the asteroid hit and killed all the dinosaurs. It was one of the last of the giant rolling reptiles of the Mesozoic era. It spent more of its time on land and in the sky too. Next is the king of the dinosaurs, Tyrannosaurus Rex. You might have noticed that this is way too big for the skull. Way too big. Really though, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, except the size of a house, sticking over the dinosaurs, actually had feathers on its neck here. Yeah, I guess you know the rest. I guess. Now is the Mosasaurus, which really was smaller than the Tyrannosaurus Rex, but I forgot to mention that. In Jurassic World, it was actually bigger than the Megalodon. I'm getting used to these falling from the sky now. In the Jurassic World movie, it hunted fish and whales, but really, the Mosasaur's main prey was ammonites and seabirds, which were appearing at the time in the late Cretaceous period. I forgot. I was going to put the Spinosaurus in this. Never mind, because we're going to have loads of really cool dinosaurs anyway. Now is the Megalodon. You might have heard of this from the movie The Meg or the Undersea mod from Minecraft or another video game. It's famous because it was the biggest fish to ever live on the planet. It was so big that, the blue whale wouldn't be too much of a hard task. It became extinct because of the competition from the swifter orcas, which was also outnumbered the Megalodon. And also whales started migrating further south to avoid it. Turtles started moving further to the equator. Now, the Brachiosaurus. I'll do the Indominus Rex at the end, just before the Indoraptor. That one came from this way. The Brachiosaurus was the first dinosaur that was seen in the movie Jurassic Park. It was very big, as you can see right now, and yeah, even here this still rises. So try to imagine it's not where when I drop it down. It lived in the late Jurassic period and was a herbivore, and its sunlight could help it reach the highest of the trees. And it was the dinosaur left behind in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, in case you were wondering that was an Apatosaurus or not. Now for the hybrid of Jurassic World, the Indominus Rex. Whoa. It is obviously very dangerous, a great match for the T-Rex, and was only defeated when Blue, the Tyrannosaurus, and the Mosasaurus worked together to defeat it and bring it to the gloomy depths of Jurassic World Lagoon. And was also very smart, as smart as a 3-year-old child, and able to play dead. Well, most dinosaurs were a lot less. No dinosaurs actually got smarter than that until the next one, one of the top 10 most dangerous creatures ever to walk the earth. So dangerous that when I bring it in, it's got to be caged. Meet the Indoraptor. This was as smart as probably I am, and was only defeated when a Triceratops skull barged right through it with its horns. It was really dangerous, really dangerous, as I had already mentioned. But just in case you want to die, let's let it out. Okay, yeah, that's the end, so goodbye.